If you've come to rob me, there's naught left but these threads that are sitting. You're too late. Some others beat you to it already. Wait now. Yes, now I can see you. You're not one of them northern laddies, are you? With your wild tongue and fearsome dress? No. Well, rest your bones. We're safe enough here. My eyes may be poor, but I can ken a friendly face from an ill one. Oh, their bards will soon be singing of this, I'll tell you, up there in the north. Aye, and those Highland fellas will be singing in the city tonight, whilst the good folk of Edinburgh fill their cups. Yes, those same folk that only days ago were shouting, "King George! King George!" Well, now it'll all be "God bless King Jamie" and "Welcome oor Cheerly." Oh, but I'll wager they'll no be singing in Berwick this night, as they lock the gates double. And there'll be no singing here either, not with the master gone. Oh, the master, gone to his lord. This house will never see his like again. If you've a few minutes to spare, indulge an old man and hear a fine tale. The tale of good Colonel Gardiner of Bankton House. Colonel James Gardiner. No man was ever more born to be a soldier. 6 foot and more, broad shoulders, and all the bearing of a noble warrior. By the age of 8, he was the despair of his mother. He fought 3 duels before manhood and bore the scars to prove it. By 14, he was the pride of his father and had gained his first rank in the army. At 18, the French shot a ball through his mouth and left him for dead. But Gardiner lived, nursed by nuns who saw God's hand in his salvation. In 1715, he came home to thwart the Jacobites, who had risen in arms against their new King George. He stormed the barricades at Preston, as men fell all around him, and he set them to flame. Oh, and never did a soldier of such glory so much enjoy in its effects. They called him the Happy Rake, and when he joined the embassy to France, the ladies of Paris were much at risk from his charms. But then, everything changed. The sounds of the party die away. Gardiner awaits the arrival of his latest feminine conquest. He kills the time, idly picks up a book, The Christian Soldier. He reads. Suddenly, there's a burst of light. The image of our Lord Jesus appears upon the cross, and a voice booms in Gardiner's head. See my wounds. Is this the reward for my suffering? Racked with shame for his sinful ways, James Gardiner is a changed man. He will become the model of the Christian soldier, disciplined, zealous, grave, and godly. Peace brings the master home to a good and loving marriage with Lady Frances Erskine, an Earl's daughter, no less. Then, 12 years past, they buy this fine house at Bankton, Olive Staub, as it was known in former times. And they build a happy home together, bearing the sadness of bairns lost with the blessings of children grown. 2 years ago, with war looming in Europe once more, the good colonel gets command of his own regiment, the 13th Dragoons. Oh, I can see them now, passing in review beneath his steely gaze, noticing every buckle, every belt, every gleaming sabre, and creaking saddle. Then the yellow-haired laddie came across the water. Our brave colonel, sick though he was, and in his 57th year, rode to war for the final time. He knew his death was coming, and he left his family in Stirling's Keep. He spoke freely of the end he knew was nigh. "I have but one life to sacrifice for my country," he said. And he was right. The army came in yesterday, and we thought the colonel might rest in his own bed and restore his health. But rest he would not with the enemy so close at hand they could be seen from these very windows. We knew nothing of the battle, till the cannon's blast shook us up, the rolling thunder of the volleys that followed. The field was all a frenzy of fear and flight. From the banks of smoke, the horses broke, fleeing like knaves past the house. I pushed through, and there I saw him, urging his men back into the fray. But the Highlandmen were amongst them now, their wild cries and whirling steel, and it was all in vain. The colonel fell in a storm of shot and blades, his body torn by so many wounds, his head struck by a monstrous Lochaber axe. Oh, pity! That mighty man brought low and left upon the ground beneath that solemn, solitary thorn tree. I fled then, and have lain low here ever since. Another servant gave me the news, how he'd found the master beneath the tree with barely a breath of life left. He took him up on a cart to Tranent, where he was comforted until the end. As for Gardiner's noble house, now it's all a jumble. His papers scattered under Highland shoes, and his floors stained with blood. The rebels are bringing here all the wounded they can move. Some are their own boys, but far more wear the scarlet of King George. The surgeons are come from the city, and the house is filled with agonies, too much for my old heart to witness. So you're better staying here and going no further. They say these Highlanders have behaved like gentlemen under the eyes of their prince, but he's away to toast his success now, and there's no telling what might happen. Oh, that it's come to this, to lose so great a master, to see all Scotland lost in just a handful of minutes. How we scorned this prince and his army of rascals. How now we see our fault and their strength. And with the master gone and the general's army scattered, who now can stop them? The battle has changed everything. So, stay a while if you wish, although I've said enough for now. Or else make careful way home. But when you go, take this story with you, for this town will never forget its own gallant Colonel Gardiner of Bankton House.